Welcome to the Rise of the Trades podcast, the show dedicated to helping you to build, grow, and scale your trades or construction business. All rise for your host, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to this week's coaching episode of the Rise of the Trades podcast, where we help trades and construction business owners to skyrocket leads, explode net profits without having to graft 60 hours a week and becoming that busy fool. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you how to get off the tools once and for all and for good, by implementing 7 crucial strategies in 7 crucial areas of your business that will help you get off the tools, stay off the tools, giving you your time back to build and grow and scale your business. But before we go there, I'd just like to announce that this is episode number 52, which means we've been going for 12 months on this podcast, and what a huge success and massive journey it's been over this last 12 months. So I'd like to start off by saying a massive thank you to all of my team, first and foremost, that helped produce this fantastic podcast episode every single week, week in, week out. But more importantly, a massive thank you to you, our listeners, whether you are an avid listener and you're tuning every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. when one of these episodes drops, or whether this is your first time listening to one of our episodes. I want to say a massive thank you for tuning in. And the reason why I'm so humble and grateful for this is, when I first had this idea about 16 months ago about setting up a podcast, people said to me, "Oh, it sounds great, Craig. What are you going to do the podcast on?" And I said, well, I want to do it on business coaching, marketing, training, strategies, mindset, personal development. And everybody went, "Oh, right. We thought you were going to do something like on YouTube where you were going to have like banter and get different people on from different trades." I says, well, that's all well and good. And there's a market for that on YouTube. If you want to sit for an hour and waste your life listening to other people trap shit, if that's what you want to do, then crack on. I said, but I've spotted a massive gap in the market for people, professional tradesmen and women, that actually want to learn and get new strategies, leave the banter to one side, just soak up all of the knowledge and all of the strategies to help people to achieve time and financial freedom. I said, so I'm going to do a business, marketing, mindset, coaching episodes. And here we are 12 months later, showing these people who doubted that this was even a thing, with the results and stats that we get on the downloads, thousands of downloads every single month. Clearly, these episodes work. And you've only got to look in our Trades Freedom Club Facebook group and community, and our newer Growth Club secret community, to see all the positive feedback and the messages that we get from people saying, "Craig, that podcast is amazing. I learned this, I learned that, I've implemented this, I'm generating more leads, I'm making more profit, I'm building a team, I've sorted my mindset out." So I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody involved in this production to help me get to 52 episodes and a year in. Thank you. Now, one of the goals for everybody running a trades or construction business, I would have thought at some point on their journey, is to get themselves off the tools, bring in a team so they can start to delegate the work, and they just concentrate then on the marketing, maybe on the pricing, bringing the work in, organising the work and dealing with the customers, where the day-to-day work are done by subbies or maybe their employees or even apprentices. And that's the goal for us all. And along my own personal journey, I attempted that 26 years ago when I decided it was time to come off the tools of having been in business for 4 or 5 years. I decided that I wanted to come off the tools. And I thought, when is the right time to come off the tools? Is there a certain level of turnover? Is there a certain level of profit? Is there a certain level of leads or finances that you have to look at? And the answer to that is no, there isn't. So way back 26 years ago, I came off the tools when I got enough work coming in to feed the business. But I made all the classic mistakes that many people do in business. I came off the tools and started delegating to other people. And in actual fact, it wasn't what we call delegation. It's what we call abdication. And that is where you just tell people what it is that you want them to do. And you expect them to be able to do what it is you want them to do to your high standards, levels, morals, values, beliefs as you've got. So you come off the tools, you delegate everything to everybody else, you take the eye off the ball of what's happening on the tools and on the jobs, because now you're focusing on other areas of your business. And sadly for me, 2 years into my journey of being off the tools, I ended up hitting all them classic mistakes, employing the wrong people, not instructing people correctly on what I wanted them to do, not delegating. I started abdicating. And after 2 years, I decided, you know what? Enough's enough. I were actually making more money when I were on the tools, and I had less stress when I were on the tools because I were communicating with the customers. I were doing the jobs right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to scale it back. And what I did is I scaled my business back, and all of a sudden I had to let a few people go, which meant I had to come back out of the office, let's say, back onto the tools, but then the vicious cycle starts all over again. Yeah, I started earning a bit more money and the job started to get a bit more organised, but I felt trapped. I couldn't grow my business because I couldn't spend enough time in the office doing the office side and developing the business because I was still back on the tools. And what did I do? Another year, 18 months of being on the tools. I came off the tools, thought I'd learnt by my own past mistakes, came off the tools again. Same thing happened. A year later, I'm back on the tools because the business couldn't run without me being on the tools. I think for many people listening to this, if you've ever tried to get off the tools, you may well have been in that same position where you come off thinking you've cracked it, but then you've got to go jump back onto the tools for whatever reason. Then you're off, then you're on, then you're off. So in this episode, what I want to share with you are 7 crucial areas of your business that you've got to implement to make sure that you actually get off them tools, you do it the right way, but more importantly, you stay off the tools so you can continue to build and grow and scale your business. And there's 7 crucial areas that I'm going to walk you through. And what I've decided to do is, rather than just explain each area and spend 5-10 minutes going into the strategy of each area, with this being the 1 year anniversary, I've been back into our analytics of each episode. And I've looked at each episode, and out of these 7 crucial areas, which episodes have got the most amount of downloads in these 7 different areas. So not only am I going to cover the areas off, what I want you to do is make a note of the podcast episodes that have already been live over this last 12 months that I'm going to relate back to, because each one of these 7 areas, I've done a full-blown episode, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours in each area. So now you're going to get crystal clear clarity of what you need to do in all 7 areas by working through this episode. But beyond that, taking on board what I'm going to share with you in the episodes and the numbers, the episode numbers that I'm going to be giving you. All right. So this is 1 episode wrapped into 8, because I'm going to be suggesting 7 other episodes that you need to go away and listen to nail that particular area. Now, if you listen to these episodes on our dedicated Rise of the Trades website, you will see that on our website, right at the very top, we've got what we call our topic tags. And we've got these 7 areas as topics at the top of the podcast website. And if you clicked on, let's say, finance, for example, what that's going to do is that's going to filter all of the finance episodes that I've done into one central page. Likewise, if you clicked on marketing, it's going to filter down all of the marketing episodes that I've done onto one page. So what I've done, I've looked at each of them 7 areas. I've looked at the analytics of which are the most popular episodes in each one of them 7 areas. And these are the 7 episodes that I'm going to suggest that you listen to and implement to get off the tools for good. So grab your notepads, grab your pens and your tablets, you know how this works now, and let's get stuck in. So for you to get off the tools for good, we can't just focus on one area such as marketing. Yes, we know that we need to generate leads coming into our business and enough of them to keep the business running, but more importantly, to bring business and work in and leads in so you can bring more people on the tools, allowing you to take a step off them. But before we ever focused on with things like marketing and we brought the leads in, that's fantastic. But if you haven't got, let's say, the systems and the automation sat behind the scenes looking after all these leads coming in, i.e. a sales pipeline that's all automated, and you've not got all your marketing strategy automated, then clearly you're going to be doing a lot of this manually. So you're going to end up staying up till daft o'clock at night doing your paperwork and your invoicing and your pricing and all that lot. And we need to get you off the tools. We need to stop you from working stupid hours. So we can't just focus on marketing to get the leads. We've got to focus on systems as well as marketing to make sure that when the marketing's working, the systems in the business take care of all the running of the business. Therefore, you're not having to stay up till midnight doing all the paperwork. Are you with me? So this is why I'm saying there are 7 areas. Now, let me walk you through, first of all, what each one of these 7 areas are. And these are in no particular order of how you need to structure your business. What I want you to do is I want you to write down these 7 areas and then look at each one and say, right, I can't start on them all today. I can only start on one of these 7 areas. And the area that you're going to start on is the one that you're the weakest in. For example, if you're really great at marketing and you're bringing enough leads in now, fantastic. You won't focus on that. You'd focus on one of the other areas that you know you need to improve on. So the 7 areas that I'm going to give you aren't the order in which you're going to build the business and get off the tools. These are combined. You need to do all 7, but I want you to pick the area that you know that you're weakest in first, and you're going to start with that area. So area number 1 is planning. Area number 2 is finances. Area number 3 is marketing. Area number 4 is mindset. Area number 5 is systems. Area number 6 is team. And area number 7 is time. Now remember, they're not the order in which you're going to do everything in. That's just the 7 areas that you've got to master to get off the tools. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with area number 1, which I said we're planning. I'm going to walk you through some ideas on what you need to be considering regarding planning. And then I'm going to suggest a popular episode that we've already recorded and that's gone live all around planning. And that is where you're going to start. So let's look at planning overall. I know that you've got 1,000,001 things to do in your business, and I know that you know deep down you should have some kind of clarity and a plan and a vision of where you're going. But in the day-to-day running and grind and chaos of a business, sometimes we can lose focus on the bigger plan and the bigger picture on where we're heading. And sometimes we end up feeling like we're sat on an hamster wheel where every day is like Groundhog Day. There's that much to do. You've got that many things on your to-do list. You've got that many customers to sort out, labour to organise, jobs to price, invoices to get out, customers to liaise with, suppliers to pay, VAT return to do. I get the picture. But if we're going to get bogged down in the day-to-day running of the business and not focus long-term on the vision and where we're heading, this is sometimes where we can hit this wall and this bottleneck where we're on this hamster wheel and we can't seem to get off it. So we need to make sure that you fully understand what your 12-month vision of your business is. You need to make sure that you've got a 12-month plan of where you're heading. And then we need to break that 12-month plan down into a 90-day action plan. So we end up creating the 12-month vision. That's the direction we're heading in. We then create a 12-month business plan, and then we break that business plan down into 4 quarters. And we take quarter 1, which is a 90-day, 13-week plan, and we get working on putting that vision together, putting that plan together. Because if you're on the hamster wheel and you don't have any crystal clear clarity and plan of where you're going, you could be going 100 mile an hour in one direction when in actual fact, you should have been going in the total opposite direction. And now you're moving further away from coming off the tools and coming away from the goal because you're on the hamster wheel and you're winging it, literally winging it up, making it up as you go along, week to week, month to month. And that is nowhere, you're never going to get to where you are, where you want to be if you're just winging it. So with that in mind, I want you to go out, check out episode number 45. Because in episode number 45, which is called How to Create a 12-month and 90-day business plan in 5 simple steps. And what we do what I share with you in that powerful, popular episode is these 7 areas that I'm talking about now. What we do is we break down each one of them areas into a simple formula so you can start to create a vision of each one of these 7 areas. And then once we've got the 7 areas and we've got the vision, that forms the 12-month vision. In there, I also share with you how to create a business plan, a 12-month business plan within 5 simple steps that you need to take. And then I share with you how to break that 12-month business plan down into a 13-week, 3-month, 90-day action plan. And once we've got that plan and we know where we're heading, it's like a weight's been lifted off our shoulders in itself, because now we've got clarity on where we're heading. We're leaving that chaos behind, and we've now got a plan of what we need to work on in our business that's going to take us to that 12-month vision of where we're heading. And as long as we stick to the plan over that 12-month, you'll get to where you need to be. Now, yes, the plan will change, obviously, but if you've got the 5-step formula, the simple steps that I share with you, you'll know then how easy it is to change that plan at any one time. You see, the goal stays the same, but it's the plan that changes to get to that goal. So if you haven't got a plan and you're winging it, you need to start with episode number 45, How to Create a 12-month and 90-day business plan in 5 simple steps. Area number 2 is finances. Finances. You know, you're in the business of making profit. So does it not make sense for us to be able to make more profit and increase our profit margins, to learn the numbers in our business? What are the most important numbers that we need to know? What do we need to learn? What do we need to understand? And how can we improve those numbers to improve the profitability within our businesses. And again, going back to when I were on the tools, off the tools, 25 years plus ago, it's a case of, well, in all honesty, I didn't know the numbers in my business. Again, it comes back to having no plan, no clarity. I used to wing it. I was great with my hands. As a joiner, I could build anything. But running a business and understanding the numbers scared the hell out of me. And I weren't the best at maths or anything like that way back at school all them years ago. I weren't the best at maths. So I just thought, the harder I graph, the more works I do, the more jobs I take on, the more vans I have on the road, the more profit I'll make. And that's not how it works. In fact, that can work in the entire opposite way. In the fact that you could be growing your business, taking more work on, taking more team on, taking more vans on like I did. Then you get to the end of the year and you look back at your books and your accounts and you go, well, hang on a minute, I've hardly made any more profit. I've turned over 500 grand. I'm working my bollocks off every single week. I'm employing new team. My overheads are skyrocketing and I've hardly made any more money. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back on the tools to make the money. Are you with me? So you've got to understand the numbers in your business, but it's not just understanding the numbers in the business. It's about understanding how cash works, the flow of money coming into your business, the flow of money going out of your business. And when I say this next thing, it's so simple and you're going to go, yeah, I get that, Craig. But my question is then, why aren't you doing it? It's very simple. Growing a profitable business, you've got to make sure that you've got more money coming into your business than you've got going out. And that sounds simple, but the vast majority of small to medium-sized businesses have got cash flow problems. Not everybody's rolling in cash, Even though your subbies and your staff and your family and friends think you're all stinking loaded and you're multimillionaires because you run your business, I know deep down behind it all, many people are struggling financially. And all we've got to do is speed up the flow of cash coming in, slow down the amount of speed of the cash going out, and make sure that there's more money coming in than there is going out. But to do that, you've got to understand the numbers in your business. Now, there are 15 different cash flow killers that you could be making mistakes on within your business right now that's preventing you from increasing your net profit margins. And when I've studied this over the years, I've made all 15 killers, disasters. I've done them all. I've made the classic mistakes. And I've been coaching people since 2012 now, and I've coached over 30,000 trades business owners. And I see it day in, day out, the same classic mistakes that I made all them years ago, people are making today. And that's because they don't understand what these 15 cash flow disasters are that they're making in the business. And if they knew what these cash flow disasters were, and they could put them right, instantly, their cash flow is going to improve. Because over the years, I've had that many sleepless nights. I've been laid awake worried. I've had anxiety. I've felt sick knowing that I'm in debt and I've got more money going out my bank than I've got coming in. I've got wages to pay on Friday. I'm dipping into me VAT money and using it as an overdraft. I've done it all. I've made all the mistakes. But it wasn't until I understood the numbers in my business and then understood these 15 cash flow disasters and started working on putting them right. Until that point, nothing changed. So what I want you to do with your finance is go and listen to episode number 18. Number 18. Because in episode 18, I share with you the 15 cash flow disasters that you've got to avoid to stop losing money in your business. Because I guarantee, even if you've got a profitable business now, you won't have ticked the boxes of all these 15 cash flow disasters. So you'll be making profit, but you'll be leaking profit out of some areas because you don't know what all 15 are. Others, you'll look at these 15 areas and you'll go, flipping heck, Craig, I need to tighten up on them all. Brilliant. At least now you know, and we can start making progress towards increasing those profit margins, but also reduce and not overpay in taxes. So episode 18, 15 cash flow disasters to avoid to stop you losing money in your business, is the one that I want you to listen to, that's going to massively improve your cash flow and your profitability. Area number 3 is marketing. Now, this is vast because, let's face it, there is so much to learn and implement when it comes to marketing. Everything from your attract strategy, in other words, how are you attracting your most profitable customers and clients in their highest concentration to your business. I mean, the attract strategy is a massive strategy within itself. Then you've got areas such as social media, video marketing, email marketing, SMS marketing, paid advertising, leaflet drops, radio advertising, magazine advertising, marketing events, networking events. There's so much that we can do and focus on. And yes, we've got to improve the way in which we're attracting people to our business. But one of the most important areas is, what the hell are you doing when you attract people to your business? And what I mean by this is, there are 3 ultimate sales tools that you're going to need in your business to be able to generate leads on tap, but more importantly, convert them leads so your conversion rate's increasing and we're winning more work. Because the more work, the more business that we can bring in, and the right work and the right business from vetted customers and clients, the more we can do that, then obviously the better work, the better jobs we get in, the more profit we can start to make. Why? Because we're attracting the right target market, and we're not any longer attracting time wasters and tire kickers. But when we attract people to us, we've got to send them somewhere. And where we send them is to the 3 ultimate sales tools that you need in your business. Now, write down what these 3 are. Number 1 is your website. But I'm not just talking about any old website. I'm talking about a high converting, SEO'd to the max website that's got the 16 fundamental features on that it needs to turn your inquiries and leads and traffic that hits your website into pre-sold, ready to buy customers. Now, I know for many of you, you will have already got a website. But again, the vast majority of time, you've invested into a website expecting to get to number 1 on Google and an avalanche of leads come through. And for the vast majority of people, that doesn't happen. You invest into a website, you've got an online presence, but every day your website is not a high converting machine generating your profitable leads. And the reason for that is you haven't got a proper website and SEO strategy. But one of the 3 places that we need to drive all our traffic to is a website. Number 2, the second most valuable place that we need to send our traffic to, the next generating machine, is what we call a landing page, a laser focused landing page. Because yes, we can send people back to your website, but on your website, that's like a brochure that's explaining all the different products and services that you and your business offers. Well, let's take an electrician as an example. On his website, he might have first fix, second fix, solar PV, EV chargers, rewires, consumer unit changes, right? There's 6 things there that he could advertise or she could advertise on the website. But if somebody's looking for one specific service, like an EV charger fitted, and you're sending traffic constantly back to your website, and they're looking at, hang on, this is solar, I don't want that. This is a rewire, I don't want that. this is a consumer unit change. I don't want that. I just want a flipping EV charging point. That's what I've seen on the social media on Facebook. Why am I getting lost in this website that's full of stuff that I don't want to buy? That's what a website is designed and does. However, a landing page is where you build one page. It's just dedicated, just a one page. And all that's on that page, in this instance, is information about EV charging points. So when you're putting content out, let's say on Facebook or LinkedIn as an example, and you're wanting to get more EV charging point installations, rather than sending them back to your website where they can get lost and find it hard to navigate to find the EV charging points, what you would do is you would send them back to a dedicated landing page where the only thing on that landing page that they can do is get information about EV charging points, because that's the only thing on it. Strip out everything else, put EV charging points on it, and that's it. And those landing pages, when you're driving dedicated traffic to it, will convert higher, much higher than what your website will, because on a website they can get lost, but on a dedicated landing page, that's what I'm offering. Do you want it? Yes or no? And the third ultimate sales tool, and this is something a little bit more modern, is building an automated sales funnel. So let me explain what I mean by an automated sales funnel. What I teach you is to get your time back, you've got to build automations and you've got to build strategies and funnels and pipelines in a particular piece of software. And that software we recommend is called Leadzilla. And when you build everything out inside Leadzilla, it's like putting your inquiries and leads on steroids. And what I mean by that is this. If someone lands on your website and it's 11 o'clock on a Sunday evening and all you've got on your website is a contact us form, yes, whilst you're in bed, that potential prospect can fill out your contact us form, but then the sales stops at that point because they can't go to the next level. There's not a journey for them to go down. There's not a funnel for them to be added into, which means you've stopped your own sales process because it's 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, you're in bed, and you're not going to pick that email up until Monday morning at 8 o'clock when you check your emails. So now you've delayed the sales process. Whereas if somebody went onto your automated sales funnel, which starts off with a landing page like I've just previously explained, and they land on that landing page and you take them through from that landing page, then they go through a pre-qualification vetting form. So you're vetting out time wasters and tire kickers and you're capturing people's budgets and timescales. And once they've gone through a series of those questions and they tick all the right boxes that you set, they could actually then, whilst they're still online, be met with a calendar. And that calendar can be a home or site survey calendar, where they are the right target market because we've asked all the right questions in the vetting form. They've ticked all the right boxes. They are a potential really good customer for you. So therefore, give them an option to book the home or site survey there and then. They book their time, date and slot in the diary that you set on your calendar, on your online calendar. They choose the date, choose the times. That then triggers automated emails and text messages off to them, confirming that it's booked in. And then that triggers automated emails and text messages in the lead up to remind them that you're attending this site survey. Now think about what we've just done there by building an automated sales funnel. Not have we only just sent someone to a dedicated landing page for that one specific product or service, example EV chargers, we've not stopped the sales process by getting them to go through a contact us form and wait until you get up on a Monday. What we've done then is we've took them through a vetting form and a vetting process, If they're not our target market, we wean them out and we stop that process. But if they are our target market, we'll let them through the vetting form. And as long as they tick all the criteria that you set, they're then met with a calendar to book their home or site survey on. They book it, they get the emails and text. So instead of you getting up on a Monday morning and have an inquiry come through a contact us form where you've got to then ring that customer up to try and get hold of them, but now they're busy or they're at work or they're dropping kids off at school and you're playing tennis with them, trying to contact them and still delaying the sales process. Instead of that, you get up on a Monday morning, you look at your emails and you go, flipping heck, I've had 5 pre-qualified leads go through my sales funnel and they've all booked surveys in with me and they've all got emails confirming I'm coming. You've sped the sales process up. Are you with me? And what consumers want in today's day and age are these 2 things. Write these down. They need these 2 things, speed and convenience. They don't want to have to wait until the following day for someone to call them back. And traditionally, you know what it's like when you've got a trades business. Most people don't call back, or they might try and call the customer back once, and because they're busy on the tools, they don't try again for another day or 2. And by the time they've got hold of the customer, they've already had the job sorted or somebody has been out and seen it and agreed a price. You're stalling and delaying your own sales process. We need speed and convenience. Okay? So what I want you to do is go and listen to episode number 30. Episode number 30. Because in that episode, I go into websites versus landing pages versus funnels, and you need to choose which one is going to generate you the most amount of leads the quickest. Because ultimately, you would have all 3. You'd have a high converting SEO to the max website, so you're being found on Google and you're organically generating leads from Google searches. You would have dedicated landing pages that you're driving paid ads or organic social media traffic to. You would have automated sales funnels, so you're not stopping and halting the sales process because everything's automated. You'd have the vetting forms in, you'd have an online calendar where they can book appointments with you. Are you with me? Ideally, you need all 3. You put all 3 of them together and drive traffic to all 3, it's game over. Absolutely game over. You'll never have to worry about leads ever again. But in reality, number 1, people have got websites, but they shit and don't generate leads. Number 2, people don't really understand the strategy around landing pages. And number 3, most people have never even heard of automated sales funnels. So in episode 30, I go through all of these 3 in so much more detail that you, by the time you've got to the end of that episode, will be able to determine, right, what am I going to invest my time into? Websites, landing pages, or automated sales funnels? Area number 4 is mindset and personal development. And if I were to order all these 7 areas in order of priority, the number 1, without a shadow of a doubt, has to be this one, mindset and personal development. Because if you've listened to any of my coachings, if you're a member of my inner circle or a member of my growth club, you will know how important this area is to your success. It's the single most important area for you to achieve time and financial freedom and everything that you want to achieve in your life, personally and business-wise. And if you do not start investing time and effort into growing you first, you're really going to struggle to grow your business and get it to levels that you've never taken your business or your life to before. And the reason for this is you personally have always got to be ahead of your business. And when I mean ahead, I'm on about like streets ahead, 10 steps ahead of your business. And the only way you're going to get 10 steps ahead of the business is if you stop constantly focusing on growing your business and share some of that proportion of time into growing yourself first. You see, you can't build and grow and take your business to levels that you've want to take it to without first growing yourself first, because new levels bring new devils, and you will not be able to cope with the pressure and the anxiety and the fear and getting outside your comfort zone as you grow your business and go up the levels if you're not growing yourself first. You are the most important thing and person in your entire business. So if you're not growing the number one person, the key to all this success, then you're never going to get there, are you? And I have this, I wouldn't say famous, but let's say it's popular, a very popular phrase that I've had for donkey's years now, and it goes like this: the business is never the problem. The problem is always the mindset of the business owner. Let me say it again. The business is never the problem. With respect, the problem is always you, the business owner. Because if I turn around to you now and said, right, go away and put an automated sales funnel in place, go and use Leadzilla as a software, go and set all that lot up, go and use ServiceMate as a job management system and go and set all that lot up, and go and set all them systems up, and while you're at it, go and increase your prices, like now, today, by 20%. Then what I want you to do is I want you to go away and I want you to do your first Facebook Live and shoot 10 videos that you're going to have as reels, and I want all that lot done within next week. Some of you are going to go, what? I can't do that. I'm terrified of shooting videos. I don't even know where to start when building automated sales funnels. If I increase my prices by 20% today, Craig, I'll never win work because I'm going to be too expensive and price myself out at market. Rubbish. All that lot can be done, but your mindset is so fixed, and dare I say it for some of you, so negative, because you fall into a negative rut and, you're in a bit of a poor place at the minute, that you're never going to even attempt to do any of that because your mindset's not in the right place. So you've got to start working on your morning routines and your evening routines and switching these up. We're talking about things like gratitude journals. We're talking about affirmations. We're talking about meditation. We're talking about exercise and you getting up and doing some exercise at some point throughout the day, whether that's going for a walk, going for a jog, joining gym. We're talking about your diet and how you're looking after yourself and what you're consuming. We're talking about slowing down on alcohol or knocking it on head like I've done completely. We're talking about your diet and not just eating shit constantly because it's quick and convenient. All this lot is having a negative or positive effect on your mindset, on your health, and on your well-being. And if you're not at the top of your game, I'm 54 years old now, and I'll give any 20-year-old a run for the money because my morning routine is regimented and I work on me. I exercise every day. I've got a PT. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I watch what I consume and put into my body. I listen to motivational and educational content every single day. I surround myself with a circle of positive influence. I don't have any negative people or situations in my life. I work on me because I can't get my businesses to where I want them to be if I'm overweight, sluggish, negative, moaning, groaning, bitching, whining, cash flow problems, not generating leads, can't find right members of staff. Well, listen, if that's you, with respect, the reason why this is happening to you is you're letting it happen. So we've got to work on ourselves. Your mindset and your personal development is the key to unlock absolutely everything in your business and in your life. Now, to do this, I'm actually going to recommend 2 episodes in mindset and personal development because these both fit hand in glove, right? So write these 2 episodes down. Episode number 9 is called How to Develop a Bulletproof Growth Mindset to achieve success. So I teach you what we need to do to make that conditional shift and change in your psyche, in your psychology, and how you approach business and life. I teach you how to make that conditional shift in your mindset. Because for some of you, you'll be already into your mindset and personal development, and you'll be on your journey and you're doing incredibly well with it. And what I'm saying is, right, how can we take it up a gear? But there will be other people that are in a negative place. You have fell into a downward spiral, into a negative rut, and you can't seem to get out of it. Well, if you can't seem to get out of a negative rut that you're in, how on earth are you going to put another £1 million turnover on your business? You're never going to do it. So episode 9, how to develop a positive, bulletproof growth mindset. And then as soon as you've done number 9 and you've implemented what I'm sharing with you, I want you to move on to episode number 10. And this is how to create a powerful morning and evening routine to change your life. Because if you can make some changes in your daily routines and replace all them bad negative habits that have crept in with positive habits that are going to help you, not hinder you, then we're going to start to get somewhere. So for mindset and personal development, I want you to go and consume episode 9 and episode 10. Area number 5 is systems. You see, for you to have any chance of getting off the tools and staying off them, you've got to have the right systems and processes in your business running it for you. Because if you're going to do anything like I used to do, and let's face it, 31 years ago since I first set up my business around 1994, we didn't have websites, we didn't have automations, we didn't have AI, we didn't have the internet had only just really come on scene. We didn't have any of this, so everything had to be done manually, literally notepads and pens and a calculator. And in today's day and age where we've got software, we've got systems, we've got apps, we've got plugins, we've got all this technology at our fingertips that are sat on as devices, it's like it just bewilders me in today's day and age why people haven't systemized and automated the businesses and why they're doing everything manually. And we know that there's only 168 hours in a week. And for many of them hours, we're grafting on the tools, yeah? Then we come home at evenings and what do? We've got jobs to look at. So evenings and weekends, we might be going and surveying jobs, whether that be home surveys if it's domestic, maybe commercial jobs. We've got to go and do the surveys, haven't we? Then we come back and we've got to do all the pricing. Then when we've done the pricing, we've got to put the quotes, estimates or proposals together. Then we've got to send those estimates out. Then we've got to follow them up. Then we've got to order up materials. Then we've got to organise labour. Then we've got to send invoices and payment terms and conditions to customers. There's all this paperwork side that nobody really sees behind the scenes. And when do you naturally do that? When you've got time. And when have you got time? At evenings and at weekends when you're not on the tools. So what we end up doing is we become a victim of our own success, really, because we're on the tools during the day. We're getting the work in, but then we're having to stay up as a busy fool till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night doing all your paperwork and all your bookkeeping and invoicing and pricing at daft o'clock, ignoring your family and ignoring your friends and packing in on all your hobbies and sacrificing that quality time that you should be spending with your kids. We pack all that lot in pursuit of growing our business. Well, listen, all that lot, what I've just talked about now, all that paperwork, pricing, job management, all that lot can be systemised and procedurised and automated. So 90% of all the paperwork that you're currently doing right now, 90% of that can be put into a system. But people say to me, I get that, Craig, but there's that many different systems out there that we can use. I'm overwhelmed with what system, software, plugin, app to use. And also, I don't understand how to use them. I don't know how to work them. I don't know how to build them. I won't even know where to start building a a pricing tool into a piece of software. I don't know how to do it. And this is what I'm saying about mindset and personal development. You've got to have a shift and change and approach in your mindset of how you're approaching your business. Because if you're not going to invest into the systems and learn how they work and what are the right systems for your business, if you're not going to do that, the more work that comes in, the more paperwork and admin there is for you to do, which means the busier you get and the more you grow your business, the less time you've got in your life, because you're constantly working during the day, evenings and weekends on your business, and you've got no spare time. And this is where cracks start to appear. They start to appear in the three main areas that systems are designed to solve. Write this down. There's three areas that you've got to be in control of in your business all times, because if you're not in control of these three things, your business will control you, and it will control everything you're doing, and your business will be pulling the strings, which means your business owns you. And remember what I said at the beginning of this episode, you've constantly got to be in control of your business and be 10 steps ahead of it. So these are the three things that you've got to own in your business. Number one is time. If you don't own your own time and your business is controlling you and what you can and can't do and the hours you've got to work, then you're not in control of your business, it controls you. Number two, finances, profits. If you're not in control of your profit margins and you're having sleepless nights because you ain't got enough money to pay the VAT, or you ain't got enough money to pay your subbies, or you ain't got enough money to pay your self-assessment tax or your suppliers that month, or even worse, you ain't got enough money to pay yourself, then you're not in control of your finances. And number three is relationships. You see, as a business owner, you need to be in control of all relationships. Relationships with your customers, relationships with your employees or your subbies, relationships with yourself and your loved ones and your family at home. And if you're not in control of that, and your customers have got you jumping through hoops and ringing you at 9 o'clock at night, expecting you to ring them back or send a text or WhatsApp back, or they want an email back over weekend, and you're doing that and you are jumping when they say jump, you're not in control of relationships. And the minute you lose control of time, money and relationships, and your business starts to own you, you have become what I used to be, which is that ultimate busy fool. So how we get out of that is we put systems in place to control our time. We put systems in place to control our finances, and we put systems in place to control our relationships. So these are the three main systems that you are going to need in a trades and construction business. These aren't all of them, because you might bolt a few extra systems on. But if you put these three into place and you work on them, you'll take back control of time, money and relationships. You ready? Number one, you need an accounting online piece of software, right? Which 9 times out of 10 in today's day and age, you've already got. And the two pieces of software that we recommend that you invest into are either Xero or QuickBooks, so you can be in control of all the numbers and the finances in your business. And I'm not just on about using QuickBooks or Xero to bang invoices out. I'm on about using QuickBooks and Xero to look at your gross profit margins, your net profit margins, your hourly rates, your balance sheet, your break-even figures, your profit and loss per job, your profit and loss per given period of time, like how much profit have I made in the last 3 months. Are you with me? It needs setting up as a dashboard where you can see all your numbers. How much corporation tax as a limited company have I accumulated and need to pay this quarter? How many self-assessment tax have I got to pay in this quarter if you're not limited? How much VAT do I owe this quarter? If you're not on top of all these numbers, then how are you supposed to build and grow and scale a business? You can't. So number one, you need accounting software. Number two, You need sales and marketing software, right? Software that's going to automate and systemize your entire marketing strategy, i.e. how you generate leads. But then when the leads come into your business, that's all well and good, but you don't want to be manually having to deal with that lead from being a lead coming in all the way down to getting a 5-star review at the end of the job. You want a system to automate all that process, to get all the customer journey in. So systemizing the booking of the survey or the home or site survey can be systemized. The systemization of pricing your jobs, because surely in today's day and age, everybody could walk around a job with a tablet or an iPhone or an Android phone, clicking buttons, 10 meters of that, 5 of them, 16 meters of that, 6 Velux windows, 25 meters of plasterboard. You could be able to walk around a job and that can be adding it up in background. And then you said to Mrs. Jones while you're there in the house, Mrs. Jones, can I just check your email address? Yeah, it's this. Ding. Oh, what's that? Oh, Mrs. Jones, that's our price. There are terms and conditions. There's an invoice attached for our deposit. These are the dates that we could fit the whatever it is you're fitting. How do you want to proceed? Remember, customers want speed and convenience. They don't want to wait 2 days, 3 days, 5 days a week anymore for prices and quotes to come back. It's ridiculous. So you're going to need a piece of software that's going to look after all of the leads and all of the sales. And that piece of software that we recommend is Leadzilla. The third piece of software that you're going to need is a piece of software that's going to actually run the jobs for you, job management. In other words, you've got the job in, but when you get the job, there's certain things that you've got to do on that job, such as communicate with that specific customer, organise the delivery of materials or order materials for that particular job, organise labour and communicate with labour on that job. You might need to get photos and videos at different stages or at the end of the day on each job, so you can show your customer, or your customer can log in and see the progress being made on a job. Are you with me? So the running of the job management side, we recommend ServiceMate, because that's a great job management system. And the way in which we teach you to do all this is we teach you to connect Xero or QuickBooks into Leadzilla, and then connect Leadzilla into ServiceMate. So you've got an ecosystem where data is coming in at one end and then it's pushed to the other 2 pieces of software automatically, so you've not got duplication of data going in. Are you with me? Now, links to Leadzilla and ServiceMate will be in the show notes and the description of this episode, and you can go and start your free trials on them. But what I'm saying is, once you put systems in place, number 1, it starts to save you time. So now you're in control of your time. Number 2, it's going to speed up the amount of work coming in and the profit you're going to make, because you're on top of all your numbers. So now you're making more profit. And number 3, because you're in full control of communication with your team and your customers, you now start owning all relationships. And at that point, you take control back of your business and back of your time, your money, your relationships, and more importantly, of your life. So here's the episode where I go into this in a lot more detail. I want you to go and check out episode number 13, called How to Systemize and Automate Your Trades or Construction Business. Episode 13, go and get stuck into that. That's going to give you a lot more detail, go into a lot more depth, and then you need to start them to bring one of those 3 pieces of software in. Don't bring all 3 in a oneer, because there's too much to do. Just concentrate on one piece of software and getting that up and running and working. And then when that's working in your business, you can turn your attention over to one of the other 2. So that's episode number 13. Area number 6 is team. You see, for you to be able to build, grow and scale your business and get it to where you want it to be, you cannot do it on your own. You've only got 168 hours in a week. There's just not enough time for you to do everything in a business. And even for the people that are saying, well, yeah, but Craig, I don't want a big team. I'm happy just me being on the tools and me just, looking after me. I get that, but you're still going to need a team, aren't you? You're still going to need an accountant. You still might need someone for health and safety. You still might need someone to help you with your marketing. So you are going to need a team. But if we're going to scale, you've got to bring a team in. And let me start off by saying this and make a note of this. There is only 2 reasons why you bring a team in to your business. Write these down. 2 reasons and 2 reasons only. Number 1 is you're bringing a team to save you time. Write it down. You bring a team in to save you time. And number 2, you're bringing a team to leverage that time to make you more profit. You bring a team in to make you more money, right? That's the idea with bringing a team in. But it's really sad that a lot of business owners have got a team, whether they're employed staff or subcontractors. And in actual fact, their team is either costing them time, right, and not saving them any time. They're actually costing them time because of their attitude, because of the mistakes that they make on the job, or their timekeeping. Yeah, it's crap. So they're costing you time. Or you've got a team that's losing your money because they're doing the job wrong, or they're cutting corners, or they're not doing it to your standards, and you've got to keep going back to that job to put things right. Or the job that you've earmarked that should take 2 days has now took 3 days because they've been tossing it off, playing on the phone and messing about on job when they should have been getting their head down and grafting. Either way, some of you will be employing people that are costing you time and costing you money. And deep down, you might know that you've got a few bad apples in your barrel, but because of the mindset is, well, I've got all this work on. If I sack them off, who's going to do all the work? I can't find skilled, reliable, honest, trustworthy labour, so I've just got to put up with it because if I sack them, I'm in shit because I've got all this work on. I mean, really? Really, if that's what you're saying to yourself when you're running a business, that you're prepared to put up with people shafting you, doing substandard work, taking the piss, costing you time and money, and you're letting this happen to yourself, you're never going to get where you want to be. So how do we build and grow a successful team that actually is going to make us money and save us time? Well, there are 4 key areas that you've got to work on in your business that I'll quickly share with you now. However, I'm going to give you a podcast episode that's going to go into all this in a lot more detail, right? So, I call these the 4 foundations of building the ultimate team. Foundation number 1 is the vision. You see, most business owners are running around in chaos on a daily basis. We've already said that lots of people are on that treadmill and on that hamster wheel, and they've lost focus and clarity of what that vision looks like. So if you've lost clarity and you're winging it and you don't know really where you're going and you're bringing a team in, remember that team is designed to help you to get to that end goal quicker. But how can the team help you get to an end goal that you, the business owner, doesn't even know exists? And even if you did, you've got to share that vision with your team, because your team's brought in to help you get that vision quicker. So they need to know what that vision looks like. They need to know that we're here now and that's the direction of the business. I'm bringing you guys in to help me get there quicker. That's what we need to be saying. So number 1, you've got to create your vision. And going back to planning, which were area number 1, when I said go through the episodes in area number 1, I said that you're going to create a 12-month vision. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. So you need to share the vision with your team of where you're heading. Foundation number 2 is called the mission. And what I mean by the mission is it's all right sharing the vision of how we're going to get there, or what it looks like when we get there, But the mission is, how do we get there? That's the end result, but we've got to change or do certain things as a team, certain stepping stones, certain things that we're going to introduce, certain things that we've got to change and do to help us get to that vision. That's the mission. It's the how we're going to get there. And that how we're going to get there might be, right, team, I'm bringing in ServiceMate. I'm bringing in Leadzilla. We're going to get a new website. We're going to get one of these all singing, all dancing automated sales funnels that Craig keeps talking about. We're going to get a vetting form. We're going to get another van on road. We're going to get an office. We're going to get a lockup. What are all the stepping stones that you've got to take as a team to achieve that vision? Foundation number 3 is what we call culture. And what I mean by this is the business owner sets the culture and the tone within the business. And years ago, I used to have a negative culture in my business. Why? Because I were always under pressure. I got cash flow problems. I couldn't find right staff. I didn't know the numbers in my business. I didn't have any systems in place. I didn't work on my mindset. So all this lot turned me into an angry man, a bitter, angry, negative man. And because I were in my business, all that lot rubbed off on my team. So when it rubbed off on their team, all of a sudden I created this culture of negativity, moaning, groaning, bitching, whining, complaining about customers, complaining and moaning about this. Well, listen, the only person that I had to blame were me, because I'd let this happen because I'd not got the right mindset. So what tone and culture do you want setting in your business? Because you, the leader, you, the business owner, you're the captain of the ship. So you need to set the culture. And anybody involved in the Trades Freedom Club, I'm sure they'll tell you that, Craig set a really positive culture within his communities, within his programs, with his members. Everything's positive, helpful, supportive. We're there to pat each other on back, lift each other up when a few of us are finding it tough. We've got a positive, supportive, helpful culture. But that had to start with one person, and that one person is me. And then that then trickles through the rest of your team. Foundation number 4, write this down, it's called the rules of the game. And what I mean by the rules of the game is this. If you don't establish the rules of your subbies and the rules to your employees of working for you and your business, they're going to come into your business with their own rules of how they think they should work and behave in your business. Now, if you bring in somebody who's been able to get away with blue murder by working for someone else. So let's say that you pay them from 8 o'clock in the morning and they think it's acceptable to rock up at 8:05, have a fag, have a cup of coffee, get the tools out, slow up, rest at people down on your team because they're talking about football from the night before, and then they end up getting on tools at 8:30 in the morning, and then before you know it, an hour later at 9:30 they're having a break that should be 15 minutes that lasts half hour, etc. Yeah, if you're allowing this to happen, then people will do it because that's the rules that they've been playing by for other people. So when they come to your business, it's up to you, the business owner, to establish the rules of your game. This is what you can do and what I'm expecting you to do in my business. These are the things that you cannot do and I don't want you to do in my business. And the consequences of breaking these rules will be X, Y, and Z. So if you do not want your team driving around in your branded vehicles with McDonald's cups, delivery tickets, old newspapers on your dashboard, and the apprentice with his boots off, with his sweaty socks on dashboard because he's put his feet on dashboard, and now everybody who pulls up at traffic lights are looking at this, right? If you don't want that to happen, you've got to explain to your team, you can't do this. These are my standards. These are my morals. These are my values. These are my beliefs. This is how I play the game. You are my team players. You've got to play the game the same way in which I do. Are you with me? So all this lot, and on top of that, the 15 different reasons why your team are losing your money and wasting your time, I cover all this lot off in so much more detail in episode number 15. So go and check out episode 15, which is called How to Build a Trustworthy and Reliable Honest Team to Scale Your Business. Episode number 15. Remember, the 2 reasons why you bring a team in, 1 is to make your money, 2 is to save your time. You've got to become a fantastic leader and lead your team over that finishing line and win the game of business. Area number 7 is time. Time. The most valuable currency known to mankind is time. And you know this. You know time's more valuable than money. But there is so many business owners out there right now who are trading their time for money and chasing the money instead of chasing time. Let me explain. If you're working long hours in your business and you are staying up till midnight and you are having to put a Saturday morning shift in and you are looking at jobs at evenings and weekend because you're on the tools during the day, right? Yeah, you might say, well, I've got to do that to run a business, but we haven't, not really. If we put everything that I've just shared with you now, the other previous 6 steps in place, we get our time back. So the first thing I want you to really do and think about is this. If you had a choice of how many hours a week would you work, what would you say? Because I'm not here to tell everyone you've got to work 2.5, 3 days a week like me. I mean, I run 4 businesses and I work 3 days a week. Why? Because I've put all these 7 areas in place over all my businesses, which then gives me time freedom. But really, you need to be thinking and asking yourself the question, how many hours a week do you actually want to work? Because all this bollocks about work-life balance, I mean, whoever came up with work-life balance, they want shooting. It's not a work-life balance. It's a work-life choice. You see, you have a choice of how many of these 168 hours in a week that you want to work. Now, when my business used to control me, I didn't have a choice. The business controlled me, dictated what I needed to do, hence the reason why I became a busy fool. As soon as I started putting these 7 areas into place in my business, which allowed me to come off the tools for good and start to structure and build a really profitable business, I actually started growing the business, making more net profit than I'd ever made before, but at the same time, I was working less hours than I'd ever worked before. So nobody holds a gun to your head and tells you, right, you've got to work till 10 o'clock tonight doing all your paperwork, your pricing, your invoicing. You've got to work till 10 o'clock tonight and you've got to ignore your wife, your husband, your kids whilst you're doing it. Nobody's holding a gun to your head saying you can't get up in the morning and go and do some exercise or go at gym. Nobody's holding a gun to your head and saying, right, you've got to pack in doing all your hobbies and use that time that you were doing for your hobbies when you enjoyed life, when you had some fun in your life. Nobody's telling you to pack them in. What you're doing is you're choosing to not invest the time correctly in your business, and therefore you're starting to trade your time for money. Instead of looking at ways in which we can reduce the amount of working hours that we're working and then reinvest that time back into making more profit, Many of us are doing it the wrong way around. We're chasing the money, thinking the money's going to give us the time. It doesn't work like that. You've got to chase getting your time back by implementing these 7 steps. And when you do that, your time will start to come back and your profit margins will start to increase. So time is the most valuable currency that we've got. You've got to say to yourself, right, how many hours a week am I going to choose to work? And I'm not going to break these goals in pursuit of growing my business, because your time spent on you, this time spent with your loved ones and your family, is the most important thing. You see, I could earn a lot more money if I wanted. In all honesty, I could just ramp everything up tenfold of what I'm doing. But I don't want to become the richest man in the graveyard. I do very, very well from what I do now, and I've got my time to invest into doing what I want to do. I've got, I believe, for me personally, I'm not saying it's right for you, but I've got the right work-life choice. It's like I've designed it and I've built it the way in which I want it to be. So let me just give you some quick tips on what I want you to consider when it comes to time management. The first thing that we've got to do is we've got to start planning our time. I keep saying it over and over again. You've only got 168 hours in a week. You haven't got more time than me or less time than me. I haven't got more time or less time than everybody else. So how can it be that I can run 4 businesses working 2.5 to 3 days a week? It's because I manage every single minute of my time, because I'm not going to be trading my time for money any longer. I did that all them years ago and it got me nowhere. It just became a busy fool. So to do this and to plan this, you are going to need to get more organised and more productive with every minute of your time that you're spending. And what I want you to consider is this. Imagine a bank, right? You put your money in a bank, and as a business, what should happen is you put money in that bank every week, every month, money goes in, money goes out, but you've always got to have more money, as we've already established, coming in than you got going out. And if you do that repeatedly, your bank balance will grow. So the idea behind running a business is you get a healthy bank balance, and week in, month out, your bank balance grows. We know that a lot of business owners that don't understand the numbers in the business, it might not be growing as quick as they want it. And for many people, it's not growing. You're actually losing money. It's costing you to run your business, right? Either way, you put money into a bank to accumulate and build and grow. It's the exact same with time. So what I want you to consider is something that I call a time bank. And that is every Monday morning, let's say, when you wake up and your eyes open at whatever time of day it is. For me, it's 4:15 in the morning, 4:15 a.m. I'll get up, and as soon as my eyes open, my time bank starts ticking. In other words, my 168 hours are starting to get deducted each week. And what my job is as a business owner, as a family man, is to get to the end of that week, got everything that I wanted to have got done, and still have time left in my time bank to choose what I want to do with it. Whether I want to go and watch my daughter play football, or my other daughter go to gymnastics, whether I want to go and see my grandkids, whether I decide to go to the gym, take my wife out for a bit of lunch, I want time left at the end of my week in my time bank. But many of us, because we're trying to cram too much in to that 168 hours, because we're trying to do everything in this business and we haven't got these previous 6 things in areas in place, what happens is we get to the end of the week and there's no time left. The egg timer is empty. It's run dry. But we're looking down at the end of the week thinking, well, I didn't get that done. We're behind on that job. I should have done this for my web designer. I should have got this cash in. I should have sent them invoices out. I forgot to send that email. I didn't send that quote out. So therefore, you are overdrawn at the time bank. In other words, you're trying to spend more than the 168 hours that have been deposited in that bank of time at the beginning of that week. So inevitably, we start the next week overwhelmed. already overdrawn at the time bank because you're carrying things forward from the previous week because you didn't have time to get things done. You have got time. You've got 168 hours in a freaking week. You've got plenty of time, but you're not being organised and you're not being productive. So what I'm going to ask you and suggest that you do is go and check out episode number 4. Episode number 4 is how to create a default diary to get super organised, become more productive and get your time back. You see, I run my business and my life through my diary. And I plan every minute I know I need to spend out of them 168 hours that I've got in a week is planned meticulously into a diary. To a point where I could literally tell you what weeks I'm having off in 5 years' time from my diary. I know when I'm going to be going on holiday. I know when kids are going to be off school. Why? Because first thing I do in my default diary is put the 13 weeks kids' holidays go into my diary like years in advance. So I know when I'm going to be off, when I want time off. Every minute of my day is planned. I'm super productive. I'm super organised. Why? Because I run a default diary. So when I get up in the morning on a Monday morning and I flick my laptop on and I go to my Google Calendar, which is what I use for my default diary, all I do is I look in and see what I've got planned in to do. And what I'm looking for is white space because my diary is colour-coded. I have all my coaching sessions for my inner circle colour-coded. All my coaching sessions for my growth club colour-coded. All of my personal goals, like, going at gym, looking after myself, all the hobbies, all colour-coded. So what I'm looking for at the end of a week is when I look at my default diary, I can see all this colour on there. That's allocated time slots that I've allocated to certain things. But the more white space I've got means the more time I've got available. So I'm always looking for white space in my diary because that equals spare time. So to get more productive and more organised and get your shit together, you need to get a default diary and run your business and run your life through a default diary. And that's exactly what I take you through in episode 4, how to structure it, what to put in it, how to put it together. I cover all that lot off in episode number 4. So as you can see, when we start to think about coming off the tools, it's not just a case of you making a decision and saying, I need enough work to come off the tools so I can bring somebody else in to do the work to free up my time. Because if you haven't got the right mindset, it's not going to work. If you've not got a plan, it's not going to work. If you haven't got the right systems, it's not going to work. If you're not employing the right team, it's not going to work. If you're not meticulously planning your time, it's not going to work. If you're not on top of all your finances, it's not going to work. For you to get off the tools, you've got to work on all these 7 different crucial areas of your business. Get all that lot put in place first so that when you do come off the tools, everything's already in place and you make that transition smoothly without it robbing your time, robbing your money and robbing your relationships. Okay? So you might want to listen to this episode a couple of times to go back and revisit all these different episodes that I've shared with you. But in total, I've added up the amount of knowledge in each one of these episodes, these 7, and what I've just shared with you today. You've got over 10 hours worth of free marketing and business coaching to walk through, where I just give you all the strategies. All you need to do is get yourself motivated to take action on this knowledge that I'm teaching you, put it in place. Massive action always equals massive results. Now, you're not going to get off the tools by just working on your finances, are you? Or just working on putting a plan in place. It's going to take a little bit more than that. But rather than setting yourself up for failure and working on a few of these areas and then going, oh, I've cracked it, I'm going to come off at tools, and then a year later having to go back on them and taking a few backward steps, you'd be much better and better advised to go, right, let me be realistic with this. You could say, right, I'm going to give myself 12 months. And if I can implement all these 7 areas that Craig's teaching me over the course of the next 12 months, and then look to come off the tools, then that's the goal. That's the plan. That comes part into area number 1, planning. The plan is I want to get off the tools in the next 12 months, right? What does that look like? What do I need to do? Well, I'm telling you now what you need to do. You've just got to be motivated to go away and go and implement it into your business. So that is exactly how you're going to get off the tools, the quickest and easiest way, and stay off them. Now, if you feel as though you may need some additional help and support and coaching with all of this, please consider joining our Trades Freedom Club Growth Club. Because inside our Growth Club, you're going to get exclusive access to weekly, live, in-person, online coaching events with me and my team on all these 7 areas that we've just gone through now, plus a whole host of other areas by joining our Growth Club. You're also going to get access to accountability sessions and also training on software, such as the software that we've already mentioned, Xero, QuickBooks, Leadzilla, and ServiceMate. You'll also get access to live Q&A sessions with me and my partners, where every month you can jump on live and ask me questions, tell me what's going off, and I'll solve the questions for you. We've also, inside our Growth Club, got pre-recorded courses on all these different areas that you can work through at your own time and your own pace. And the final thing that we've got within our Growth Club is an incredibly positive and supportive community inside, where every single day we've got members asking for help, support, they're sharing their wins and their results, and sharing how excited they are about coming on all the different weekly events that we are running live for our members. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, click the link below this episode in the episode description, come over and join our Growth Club, and let's start helping you achieve time and financial freedom in your business. Now, at the end of each one of these episodes, I leave it on a quote or a famous quote from someone. But in today's episode, I'm going to leave it on 2 because this is fitting for what we've just covered today. Number 1 is this, and I'm sure you've heard this. It's one of the most famous phrases or quotes in business history, and it goes like this: the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again in your business, but expecting to get a different result. If you're doing the same things over and over and again, and it's not working, then you need to change your approach. You need to change the strategy that you're using. And if we don't do that, it's going to lead me on to the second quote, which is this: for things to change, you have to change, or all you'll ever have in your business and your pocket is change. So we've got to stop trying the same things that don't work and create a new approach. And if we want things to change, it's not the business that needs to change. It's the business owner that needs to change, or all you'll have in your pocket is change. So I'll catch up with you on next week's episode, and I'll meet you at the top. Thank you.